And welcome into Let's Talk Sports on the Cool Hit Sports Network. James Carey, happy to have you along with us here this morning. A beautiful sunny Saturday morning, a little bit of cloud cover out there, but it's certainly going to go south very quickly. Lots of weather moving in overnight, rains, heavy winds, so enjoy the afternoon while you have the opportunity. It's going to go sideways very quickly. We've got a loaded house this morning in studio. Raceland with a big win last night in the state semifinals over Louisville Holy Cross as the Rams punched their ticket into the state championship game this Friday, high noon down at Kroger Field. We'll talk all about that in just a little bit. We'll preview the matchup as we go through. We'll also look ahead at some college football games today on the final week of the regular season in college football, a lot of rivalry weeks and then conference championship games coming up. And, of course, the Borders Sporting Goods rant of the week. That's when we get to the end of the show. Let's take a break. When we come back, we've got two segments we're going to roll with Raceland. We're going to start with offense and Coach Mike Sammons. Then the defense will be on after that. That's as we continue here on Let's Talk Sports on the Cool Hit Sports Network.
In addition to the Greenup location, Stelz Pharmacy's newest location is at 437 James Hanna Drive in South Shore, but has retained the name you know and love, McDonald Pharmacy, with the same great service you'll find in the Greenup location, with free delivery service and their convenient drive-thru. Get your vaccinations and allergy shots, and of course, great prescription service at Stelz Pharmacy in Greenup and McDonald Pharmacy, James Hanna Drive, South Shore.
Stelz Pharmacy.
Does your gas station or convenience store need a facelift? If so, call River City Builders at 473-4112 for your remedy. Big or small projects, River City's Builders is a company for all your needs. We have extensive experience in the petroleum industry, from routine gas dispenser and canopy maintenance to above-ground, underground tank and piping work to full-blown remodels and new builds. Call River City Builders at 473-4112 for all your petroleum needs. We'll cover your back and keep your customers pumping gas.
I'm April Perry, the CEO of Kentucky Farmers Bank. On average, our employees have been with Kentucky Farmers Bank for over 10 years, and that is important to you and us. We want you to know who you are dealing with. Whether you are financing a new home, buying a car, or remodeling your kitchen, Kentucky Farmers Bank is the better bank for all your needs.
Kentucky Farmers Bank, the better bank for all your financial needs since 1931. Located in Ashland, Summit, and Catlettsburg. KentuckyFarmersBank.com. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Clark's Pump and Shop now has Arco, a new brand of gasoline. Look for Arco gasoline and our brand new state-of-the-art pumps at several of our tri-state locations. Clark's Pump and Shop still offers the same clean stores and the same fast, friendly service you've always received. You may have noticed a new facelift at some of Clark's Pump and Shop locations, and we invite you to stop in and see for yourself. To learn more, visit us online at myclarkspns.com. Clark's Pump and Shop, where you can return, refresh, and refuel.
The greatest songs of all time. You've got cool hits. 105.7.
Back here on Let's Talk Sports on the Cool Hit Sports Network. James Carey, happy to have you along with us as in studio this morning. We've got several members of Raceland football. We'll start first with head coach Mike Sammons. Coach, good morning. How are you?
Doing good this morning, James. How you guys doing?
Doing well. Thanks for joining us this morning. Heck of an effort and a battle last night that we witnessed over at Ram Stadium and the Class Single A state semifinals, and it was a game where you guys asserted yourself early. A little bit of a costly mistake on the punting game, something we hadn't seen this year, gave them good field position, a penalty that was a questionable call, gives them an opportunity to get in the end zone, but then from that point forward, it was the Raceland Rams the rest of the way.
Yeah, I thought our guys came out real focused last night. I think obviously we were dialed into what we were trying to do schematically wise and for the game plan. Got off to a fast start there early on, got 3 and out, was able to go down and score. And, again, it's a long game. We got to, I think, felt like we grew up between 7 days from, prior week to last night. We really valued the ball and didn't turn the ball over. That was obviously a big part of the game last night, being able to value the ball and have more possessions. And obviously we really took care of those. We had the one possession in the first half where we punted and had to poor punt, and then we had a chance to get a stop on third down and, got the pass interference call. But overall, our guys really just kept playing. It's a long game. It'll be a 48-minute game this Friday. Our kids know that, and that's how we're built, and that's how we're programmed. And again, over the course of time, you just kind of wear on people, and that's who we are.
One of the things that we've talked throughout the season, especially this week when I had the extended time to come over and talk with you guys, defensively, the way that your team flies to the football, it was no difference last night. The Perry kid, we talked about how explosive he could be, how dynamic of a quarterback as well as a running back he was, but you guys brought pressure from every single element, every option that was there, and kept him really unbalanced the entire night.
Yeah, again, I think what happened last night was, first of all, you look at the run game went away. I think they ran for, 30-some yards or something. I don't remember exactly. And so now they're playing one-dimensional. They're going to throw the ball every down. And so you can really pin your ears back and try to dial up some pressure and get after him. I know Coach Fannin in the secondary was a little frustrated last night. We had a hard time getting the guy on the ground, couldn't get no sacks. But we finally got some sacks, got some hits on him. Even if even you talked about the first touchdown there where we got the DPI, we got a pretty good lick on him. And those things, over the course of time, wear on you. You're not as comfortable back there when you got people laying around your feet, breathing down your neck, trying to get licks on you. And I think that's what we did a really good job of, taking away their run game last night, not let them control the line of scrimmage. And then, when they put the ball in the air, obviously one time they threw it to us. They were like 50% completion percentage. And then when you get behind, the game starts snowballing on you. And I think that's what we saw last night.
You hold them to 31 yards rushing last night, and we talked about this week. When you can take away the team's best option, in this case trying to be able to run the football with the running back also in the mix there with the Ballard kid, you put them into not what you would say their most comfortable position. It's no secret the Perry kid could throw the football, but that was certainly not his first option.
No, he wants to make plays with his feet, and he can make plays with his feet running the ball and also make plays with his feet extending the play and then finding guys running open, because you lose guys in coverage when people start scrambling around and running all over the field. And again, when he had to stay in the pocket and make throws all night, we didn't feel like that was his strength or something they could do to beat us. He gets on the edge, start making some plays and run around like Johnny Manziel, then all of a sudden he becomes really dangerous. Our guys, again, were able to kind of zero in on him, and although we may not have got as many sacks as we wanted, we were able to get some licks on him and really throw his timing off. And then we were so punishing on the line of scrimmage, it really wears on you.
Offensively, when you look at what you guys were able to accomplish, again, you've made no secrets of saying this way. If you can run the football in November and in December, you're going to like the outcome. 336 rushing yards last night. You guys were averaging almost 10 yards a tote. And it was, especially there in the second half, it was those punishing blows at the line of scrimmage that continued to allow you guys to hit those big explosive plays.
Yeah, I'm not for sure off the top of my head, but it's probably a season high, I would think, 300-some yards on the ground. Just really explosive. Again, our offensive line really experienced, really getting in behind our pads. Running backs, I think last night the big thing was we made some explosive runs. We had a couple 50-plus yard runs. That really, gets momentum going when you can hit some explosives. Running the ball 10 yards a carry, it's hard to come off of. We did make some throws and catches last night, which was good to see. I think we only put the ball in the air, 8 or 10 times.
8 times.
8 times, yeah. So, like to, maybe in an ideal world, like to maybe have been a little bit more on that. But, again, mid-40s on the snaps last night, again, just due to the running clock. So, again, I thought our run game last night was the difference in the game. Who can run the ball and who can stop the run? Well, even a week ago, as tight as the game was, who ran the ball better, and at the end of the game, it turns out that way. You just can't turn it over. Makes it a little bit uncomfortable. Last night, this Friday will be no different. They're going to line up want to run the ball. We're going to line up want to run the ball, and something's going to give. And so that's what happens in November. That's what happens in December. When you play this long, you got to be able to run the ball and stop the run. And our guys really bought into that process. And I thought our running backs last night were really dynamic, all 4 of them at different times. Just being able to share the workload. Logan got a couple nice explosive runs as well. So just really sharing the load, and whoever next man up, whoever's number's called, takes advantage of the opportunity. And that's just kind of how we are, built on unselfishness.
The previous high for this season in the rushing game, 271. That was against Betsy Lane. You put 269 up on Greenup. You also last night flirted with your season high for total yards. 551's your season high. That was against Russell. You put up 520 total last night.
Yeah, you never dreamed going in the state semifinals you're going to put 500 yards of offense up. We felt like, we had some opportunities to score. We felt like, we could get some points on the board. I don't know that we felt like we could score 49, but, we'll take it and move forward. And, again, we got a lot of dynamic playmakers. It all starts up front with our experienced really veteran, really unselfish offensive lineman. Of course, Logan's playing with a lot of confidence at quarterback right now, and we get a bunch of guys who don't care who gets the credit. You see the results, and that's who we are.
Last night, you have two running backs that go for over 100 yards. I had to dig way back in the book to find this one. It's the first time you've had a pair of running backs, just running backs, that's gone for 100 or more since November 6, 2015. The last time that happened, Kane Snyder, 22 carries for 155. Carson Christian, 18 for 100. It's happened two other times, but it's a quarterback-running back combo. Bailey Walker did it in 16 with Nathaniel Davidson, and then in 2018, Hunter Lax and Jake Heighton. But 7 years it's taken since you've had that. But Isaac Browning last night goes for a career-high 118 yards, his second 100-yard rushing game this year. Noah Wallace puts up his eighth. First time in his career he's gone over 100 yards in back-to-back games.
Yeah, those guys just unselfish. There's been some games, I think maybe the first game of the year, Isaac was our primary ball carrier. There's been some games Noah has no carries. It's just who we are. Again, whoever name or numbers called that night, whoever's got the hot hand, that's who we go with. I thought last night both of those guys really ran possessed, really physical. I thought in the second half, Isaac, maybe he's a little undersized to some people, but I think what's missed with him is, first of all, he's extremely strong, really good in the weight room. Second of all, he runs a lot better than what people think. And so he's also fresh. He doesn't play any defense for us, hasn't, on that side of the ball. He's just been really fresh, and we felt like in the second half last night he could be a nice change of pace for us. And as it turned out, he made multiple explosive runs and multiple physical runs. I think that's what you see there with him. And Noah just bruising people, getting the shoulder pads down. Good to see him in the open field last night. Not something he does a lot of. He usually likes to stand in there and don't run away from people. Usually likes to try to find people to run into. But it was good to see him get in the open field last night. And again, just getting behind our running backs and our offensive line to really move the pile.
Well, let's transition in the players for a moment. So slide the microphones around to you guys. So jump up here and grab the microphones and pull it down this way so we can get you, and then we'll rotate you guys in. So we'll start first, Coach. I'm gonna have you slide back just a little bit for me if you don't mind. Right there's perfect. Now we can bring them in. There we go. Three members for the Raceland Rams this morning. I'll let you three go across the line, introduce yourselves, and then we'll go from there. Reese, I'll start with you.
I'm Reese Winters, and I play offensive line. I'm Peyton Ison, and I'm the kicker.
Parker Fannin, receiver DB.
Parker, I'm going to pull your microphone out to you just a little bit further. Reese, I'm going to start with you. When you look at the way you guys have been able to run the football, especially in the playoffs and last night, it all starts at that point of contact in the offensive line. And it's the unsung heroes position, if you will. But for you to hear numbers like what you guys were able to produce, being a member of that offensive line, how special is that to hear?
It's really special because, it's something we take pride in every day. We're running the ball during practice. We're running the ball all game. It's really special to us to be able to run for 300 in the Final Four.
Being one of those seniors, what's it like knowing you're on a trip to Kroger Field? That's where the ultimate. I don't want to say it was. I don't feel like it was a goal this year. I feel like it was kind of the expectations, and you guys met those expectations.
It's really special to us. We've dreamed about this for a long time. 2 years ago we lost at the 1 yard line on the same field, and we should have went there that year. But it's just really special to us, and we're not finished yet.
What's the biggest thing that you take away from everything that you guys have been able to accomplish this year thus far that has gotten you to where you guys are of playing for a championship?
The biggest thing, on the line is last year. Our communication. We couldn't communicate anything on the line. We'd have two guys pass setting, three guys running the ball. This year everybody's confident in each other. We trust each other. If something goes south, we're all going forward together.
I talked with Coach Francis, and I said the way that your line is made up is really unique. You've got really big guys with a lot of physical power inside. You've got some really skillful, athletic guys on the outside edge. How much does that allow you guys to do a lot of the stunts that you do, especially when you're out trying to pull?
It helps a lot. Clay, he can get up in the hole in about, before Noah ever gets the ball. But it helps us a lot. We run screens and we're out there before the ball's off. We can hit kids. A lot of receivers run free. I think it helps a lot having a quick line. We run a lot of screens. We can run a lot of trap plays, joker plays, get the ball up in the hole easy.
Last night, did you notice it seemed like you guys kept trying to jam it up in the middle, and they were doing a good job of taking away those holes, but the way that you guys continued to attack it opened up a lot of the stuff on the outside?
Well, our goal is to make a hole in the middle, but sometimes it bounces. Those running backs like to get to the edge, but it just eventually there's going to be a hole there because all 5 of us, we're on somebody. Everybody's blocking.
Peyton, let's bring you in here as last night for you. It was a career milestone on that first PAT, and fitting enough, the end zone that you kick it toward was the last end zone that Raceland used to go to the state championship. For you, hearing the number, you and I talked earlier this week, hearing that number and achieving that number, 150 and counting, as you got over that. I think you're at 153 now, but. How big is that, just knowing the number and that you have, achieved and that you continue to build on?
I'm just blessed to be able to play football, and I'm blessed with a holder and a snapper that's perfect and a great coach. And so just to have the opportunity to even kick one is just a blessing to me.
Coach was talking to me this week, and he said, when he offered you to come out to practice, when he saw you kick, he said kind of did it in a joke, and lo and behold, here you show up the next day at practice, and the rest has kind of written itself in the history books. But what was the thought process when Coach offered you to come out to kick, and you were like, oh, he was being serious, I'm showing up?
I was a little nervous, I'm not going to lie, because I was kind of a loner kind of at school. I wasn't really because you kind of got and so for him to come up and do that it changed my life, and I'm forever grateful for that.
He said he remembers. I think Coach, you said it was his freshman year. I think when he did his first PAT kick, and
it was a Fairview game. I don't know if it was at home or what. He probably remembers much better than I do.
But you remember that first kick?
Yeah, I try not to remember that. But
I think he fell down.
Yeah.
Go back to that very first kick, though, and here you are now, over 150 in your career. I mean, what's that say about the time and effort that you have put in to perfect your craft?
Well, go back to that first kick. So I wasn't ready I didn't think I was going to get a chance that night. And so I was all the way down the other field, and I heard him scream my name. I was like, I'm not even. So I went out there, and I kicked it, and I hit the snapper in the butt with it, and I fell down, and it was just atrocious. And I'm surprised he's ever let me kick again after that game. So, but I'm just thankful for my coaches. Coach Huff has helped me every day get better at my craft and what I do, and I'm just very thankful for them.
Coach Lewis brings out the relic for you to kick with as well. It was so old that I think a couple of years ago you broke it and you had to go get it, but a square-toe shoe. We showed this last night in pregame. I had to borrow a shoe before we went out to get going, but this is a very unorthodox style of kicking that you don't see very often, but for you, you've made it very much your own. And you said it's more comfortable of a kicking style than the regular swinging leg.
Yeah, my first time I tried, I had a hard time going soccer because I never played soccer style before, so I really had a hard time connecting and hitting the ball good. And Coach Lewis one day at practice brought that thing out there, and I was like, what?
Did you think it was a joke?
I didn't know what was going on. I had no clue I've never seen it before. And so that broke, and so now it's very hard to find one now, so.
With you and the time that you've spent at Raceland in the kicking game, it's a very lonely game because everything's happening on the other end of the field and you're down there on the other side kicking by yourself. How do you stay focused and continue to push yourself? Because a lot of the stuff that you do as a kicker, you're doing on your own.
I kind of, during the game, when we're on defense, I kind of try to get in the net and make sure my steps are right. And then when they're on offense, I kind of try to stay by myself to stay focused in case whenever my number's called, I'll be ready to go.
For you, getting a chance to go to Kroger Field and play in the state championship, how special a moment that's going to be for you?
Gosh, it's going to be a blessing. My papa started crying last night, and I broke down in tears because I wish he had the chance to ever play there, man. But it's just going to be a blessing to be able to play there and knowing that's one of the reasons I come back.
Parker, for you last night, you showed off some of that speed that we haven't seen in a while, and I talked about it, and this just goes back to what Coach says. There's so many plays that it's a nameless play that's called because it's just whoever happens to be out there. The way they were playing defense, it opened up a lot of those crossing routes, those underneath routes. You catch one and turn it into an explosive play. Take me back through that one.
Coach Sammons and our coaching staff did a great job preparing us all week, and we knew the middle of the field was going to be open. And, I think it was Mason on the left side. He did a good job of getting the corner out of the way and giving me a lane to run. So,
For you, the way that you guys attack through the passing game, you can take a 3-yard pass and turn it into a 60-yard touchdown. Well, how does all that set up and how does it work?
It all comes from running the ball. I mean, you said 330 yards to 30 last night. I mean, that's crazy. And I think Coach Salmons can attest to this. There's nobody more happy than our receivers whenever we can run the ball like that.
Something that my color commentator and I, we talked about in the game last night, the one play that turned into a big touchdown run, or I'm sorry, not a touchdown run. It was just shy of the touchdown run when Noah goes for 47. It was Mason Likens that set the edge. And it's something that it's a testament to what the receivers do on those edges to get those guys those big lanes, and it allows the offensive lineman to get up into that second level a lot quicker.
Yeah, 3 years ago, our culture kind of really changed around receiver blocking. If you go back and watch film from 4 years ago, our receivers, whenever it was the lead or somebody, we would just jog off the ball, and we wouldn't really try to block anybody. And then that's something we've really worked on in the past 3 years is blocking every play as hard as we can, and we've gotten really good at it.
For you, you've had a little bit of a different challenge this year. You line up in the slot, but you've also worked as a kind of a tight end, if you will, and even attaching some. Was that a big change for you this season?
No, I had worked tight end. I started late in the season my freshman year, and then I did it all last year too. So it was normal, and it makes it hard for defenses to prepare for. So it's been good.
We talk so much about 4 running backs that Raceland has that it can go to at any given time, but that also kind of overshadows, especially at this point of the year. There's 5 different receivers that Logan can throw the football to, and then last night got 2 of the running backs in the passing game as well. When you see that one guy's being taken away and you know that it's your night, like last night, how special is that of an evening of knowing that you have an opportunity to step up and be the guy that night?
Oh, it feels good, but I mean, we're all unselfish. It doesn't matter who gets the ball or who gets their number called. We just celebrate for each other whenever it's their night.
How hard is it to play for your dad?
It's gotten a lot better over the years because he lets me kind of do what I do now because I've played for. I've got some experience, but it's definitely special that we get to play on a state championship for a state championship together.
Which one is longer, the number of years you played football or the age of his hat?
Definitely the age of that hat. That hat's been around for a while.
It was funny. We that hat may or may not have gone missing for a little bit earlier in the year, and it wound up on Twitter. I was part of the hostage negotiation before it was returned, but anybody that knows Coach Fannin, they know he's attached to that hat. Getting a chance to go to Kroger Field, how special is that for you?
It's crazy, you know. I mean, we worked really hard these past 3 years since that Paintsville game my freshman year, and we've had our eyes set on it for a while, and we've put in the work, and hopefully we see it come.
Well, let's take a break. When we return, we're going to transition into a couple of members of the defense. We'll bring Coach Salmons back in and talk some defensive side of things from last night. That's as we continue here with Raceland Football in studio on Let's Talk Sports on the Cool Hits Sports Network.
In addition to the Greenup location, Stelz Pharmacy's newest location is at 437 James Hanna Drive in South Shore, but has retained the name you know and love, McDonald Pharmacy, with the same great service you'll find in the Greenup location, with free delivery service and their convenient drive-thru. Get your vaccinations and allergy shots, and of course, great prescription service at Stelz Pharmacy in Greenup and McDonald Pharmacy, James Hanna Drive, South Shore.
Stelz Pharmacy.
Does your gas station or convenience store need a facelift? If so, call River City Builders at 473-4112 for your remedy. Big or small projects, River City's Builders is a company for all your needs. We have extensive experience in the petroleum industry, from routine gas dispenser and canopy maintenance to above-ground, underground tank and piping work to full-blown remodels and new builds. Call River City Builders at 473-4112 for all your petroleum needs. We'll cover your back and keep your customers pumping gas.
Hello, I'm Michael Bowling, Senior Vice President of Kentucky Farmers Bank. When you do business with Kentucky Farmers Bank, you're making an investment in your community. Your money stays local, we never sell your loan, and in turn, we invest in local families, churches, schools, and charities. We believe in our community, and that's why we are the better bank for loans.
Kentucky Farmers Bank, the better bank for loans since 1931. Located in Ashland, Summit, and Catlettsburg. KentuckyFarmersBank.com, member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
The weather is brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shops of the Tri-State. For low prices on snacks, soft drinks, and quality Marathon gasoline, visit the Clark's Pump and Shop nearest you. Clark's Pump and Shops of the Tri-State. Return, refresh, refuel.
Cool Hits weather.
Look for partly cloudy skies today. A high will be around 60. Cloudy tonight with occasional rain showers at a low around 44. On Sunday, cloudy with periods of rain early, a high of 62.
Cool Hits 105.7.
Back on Let's Talk Sports on the Cool Hits Sports Network. James Carey, happy to have you along with us here this morning. Big thanks to our first three members that we had join us from Raceland Football, Parker Fannin, Peyton Eisen, and Reese Winters, talking the offensive side of things. And now we're going to transition over to the defensive side of things. And, Coach, I'll bring you back in for this. We've talked about the defense wins championships and the way that you guys have really limited and taken away teams' ability to run the football this year has been no secret. Leading class single A, you're in the top 10 in class in all the classes throughout the state. But last night, averaging 66 yards a game that you gave up on the ground, you hold your team to 30. That certainly kind of, again, sends another statement across the state.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, our run defense is kind of our backbone. It's kind of our identity, if you will, who we are. I would say that probably rivals second to our ability to run the ball. And again, if you want to survive in November, December, play on these stages, you're going to have to run the football, and you got to be able to stop the run the football if you want to survive. And so that's kind of how we're built. You go into the first coaches meeting tomorrow when we start talking about Pikeville. The very first thing is how are we going to stop the run, and everything else from there is somewhat secondary, but that is the top line. How are we going to stop the run? What are we going to do to stop the run? How are we going to do to be successful? Because when teams can line up and run the ball, essentially it opens up the rest of the opportunities for them. And so Coach Lewis, our defensive guys, Coach Fannin's kind of on the back side of it, but Coach Pack and Coach Lewis, linebackers coach, and Coach Beak on the defensive line, really done a tremendous job. We're not necessarily blessed with tremendous size on the line of scrimmage, but I think our guys are athletic on defense, maybe as more athletically gifted on defense than we've ever been. We run really well. We got guys in the front seven that can run to the ball. We don't have the big A-gap plugger that can't run to the ball. We have guys that can really run to the ball, and a lot of times that's what saved us all year in the run game.
I know I talked with Coach Lewis this week, and one of the things he talked about that on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, there's a stopwatch and the time it takes everyone to get from point A to point B on the ability to tackle and really bring the ball carrier down. And I talked with Braden this week as well, and first thing he pointed out, that stopwatch on Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Yeah, I think that was really, really big for us in the preseason, particularly when it's hot out and you can attach some consequence to it. I'm sure these guys will attest to that. And then all of a sudden it becomes habitual. It becomes habit. And, there is a stopwatch out there still, but now it's kind of like the old, Pavlov's dog. They say, guys are trained to run to the ball now. And I think what happens, too, is you get buy-in from that. So we scrimmage Belfry, competitive scrimmage. Then we go scrimmage Wheelersburg, and it's 7-7. And then we play Ashland, hold them to a touchdown, and then all of a sudden guys are like, wait a minute, these guys know what they're talking about. Wait a minute, this run the ball stuff really works, and then from there it becomes habit forming for one guy, but then it's contagious among the group. And so I think that's what we've been able to do. It's really been over the 9 years, Coach Lewis has coordinated our front seven. It's been a big emphasis of his, and we've had some outstanding defenses, some outstanding statistical defenses. You go back and look, and 2022 is certainly one of them, and that's why we're still standing.
Coach Lewis, what he brings to the table each and every week, there's no computers involved. Everything's by hand, old school, but it's something that I know what I've talked with him this week and several of the players. He has his way of doing things. It's very simplistic, and it works.
Yeah, you joke about Coach Lewis on a computer. He retired from teaching last year, and this is a funny story. I'd got an email from the technology guy saying, hey, we need Coach Lewis's computer back. And I said, well, Coach Lewis still working, He's like, no, he's not teaching. I'm like, well, he's coaching football. And without Coach Lewis's laptop, he can't watch film. You take his laptop away from him, I don't think he can function. Not that he works on his laptop, he watches film on his laptop. It's like attached to his hip everywhere he goes. And so I'm like, how about we get that, we'll get that laptop back to you about December, something like that. And but no, Coach, his preparation's unmatched. I think that's probably one of the biggest things I've learned from him is his ability to prepare and be prepared for all certain type of situations and certain type of moments in games, including down and distance and situational football. I'm sure some of that comes with 50 years of experience, but just really being able to get our guys to rally around a cause, and that's to run the football, and that's what he's been able to do, and let's hope he can do it one more time.
Let's talk about these two guys you've got here with you this morning on the defensive side of things, Ben Taylor and Braden Webb. Both have brought their own unique style of the game to you. Ben working there on the line, Braden there in that linebacking core, but both of those guys are very intricate pieces on what you guys do defensively.
Yeah, I think the first thing I would say about these two kids is, really high character, extremely, extremely intellectual. Their day starts every day in calculus. I've coached football 16 years at Raceland. I haven't had a lot of kids in calculus. No disrespect, that's just the way it goes in football. So both these kids are left-handed. That's kind of unique. Really creative type thinkers, really students of the game, kids that really give you all they got. Whatever they got, you get. And I think that's what's been the most rewarding part. Then you get on the field and their athletic abilities and their abilities to make plays, I think, obviously stand out. That's why they're here today, and that's why we're still standing. But a much better person off the field than on. And so, Ben's been a 2-year starter for us, probably played less snaps this year than he played a year ago. But it goes back to our unselfishness. That's who he is, and that's who we are. And I think he's seen better production, better results from playing less snaps. Braden could be a dynamic offensive player, and he has made offensive plays for us, including last night. And just early on in the year when the weather was real hot and we're trying to play as many guys we can play, we just didn't be able to get him in the fold. And then as the season wore on, we got multiple offensive packages where he's a part of us. And again, he's another unselfish guy. He's kind of this, the vocal leader out there in the front seven, getting guys lined up and calling our pressures and getting us in the right checks, whatever we need to be in. And he's kind of Coach Lewis' extension on the field. And so proud of what they've been able to do, and they've both earned it.
Well, let's transition those two gentlemen in onto the microphones and welcome them in. Brady, pull the blue one around there to you, and then we'll slide the coach's mic around the bend there. So, first gentleman, welcome in. I'll let you introduce yourselves, and then we'll take off from there. Ben, I'll start with you.
Ben Taylor. I play the D-line and short snap.
I'm Braden Webb, and I'm the middle linebacker.
Ben, for you, playing on that defensive line, and again, it's kind of almost one of those thankless jobs, much like being on the offensive line, but when you have an option of drawing sometimes double teams to let guys like Braden behind you, that linebacker core, really fly free, how fulfilling is that?
I mean, I think it's just an honor, and then we got guys that'll make plays no matter what, and like this guy, or like Cam Bell, Mason Likens, but it's pretty special.
For you last year, you kind of shot out of the cannon. You were a bit of an unknown, and teams figured out your number and name real quickly because the success that you had. This year, there was no hiding. They knew where 63 was, and they had to identify you.
Yeah, well, I agree 100%. Yeah.
When you draw a double team, is that kind of one of those ways that maybe you almost call it like the recognition that you take because teams have identified what they have to do for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's an honor. Like, it sucks because you want to make the play, but then you're like, we got 10 other guys that are going to run to the ball. So,
which one's more difficult, Coach Lewis's film study or calculus?
I wouldn't even say it's film study. It's he writes hieroglyphics.
I've seen several of his pages.
It's hard to read. You have to ask him about it.
Yeah, well, see, Coach, he usually walks in with me every morning around 7:05 or so, and he's got his notebook, and then he's pacing up and down the hallways, handing papers out like he's running for political office or whatever. But it's a different part of the plan for each day.
He's pretty special. It's been an honor to play for him.
Braden, for you, Coach Kelly said you're kind of an extension of Coach Lewis. For you, first year at Raceland, how much was it a learning curve of kind of getting on that page of getting what Coach wants and knowing how to communicate with what he wants?
It was kind of hard to get inside. I kind of had to get inside his mind.
That's a scary place to get.
Oh yeah, it took me a couple weeks to adjust, but after those couple weeks, I think I've adjusted pretty good, and we've been rolling ever since.
Being in that interior of the linebacking core and knowing how much emphasis Raceland puts on their linebacker play, did you feel that pressure early on in the year?
Not really. I didn't really think about anything like that. I just just played my defensive spot. I knew the guys around me make plays with me.
What is it about the linebacking unit this year that it seems like every time the ball gets handed off, all four of you guys are there at the point of contact?
I think it just goes back to our overall team speed on defense, and we just fly to the ball every single play that we can. Everyone wants to be in on the tackle.
Last night, I know it was there was times that you guys dialed up different blitzes and key blitzes. Going into that ball game, it was not a game that to where you guys were just going to be able to pin your ears back and go after that guy, because if you miss him, it's a lot of open space in front. But when you guys dialed the blitzes up, they came at perfect times. Was that kind of the game plan this week of you were going to have to attack at key moments, but when you made those key moments happen, they had to be precise?
Yeah, you had to be really you had to dial up blitzes just about perfect every time, because if not, they could take deep shots down the field, and then every now and then we'd leave the middle wide open when we send both of our linebackers. We really had to pick and choose our moments.
For you, being with Race on your first season in Ramland and get a chance to go play for a state championship, how special is that?
It's definitely nothing that I've experienced before, and I'm pretty excited for Friday to come.
Ben, for you, being a member of the defense that has gotten the notoriety that it well deserves of being one of the top defenses in the entire state, not classification of Class Single A, but everywhere in the state, how fulfilling is that for you?
It is nice to get some recognition for the defense sometimes, not gonna lie, but I mean, we've been working at this since last year, well, since I got here, honestly. Coach Lewis preached 11 guys at the ball, 3 and out, but we're excited for Friday.
You say 3 and out. When you get those 3 and out, and Braden, I'll ask you the same question in just a second and give you both a chance to respond to this one. When you force a team to a 3 and out, how demeaning is that to that other team?
It feels pretty good. I don't even pay attention to that, but I was just like, let's get off the field.
Braden, when you get that 3 and out, especially when it's a 3rd and short and you force that, and you look and you see that official hold that fist up, it's signifying 4th down. How special of a feeling is that for you, knowing you've gotten your job completed?
It's a pretty great feeling, because you just know when you're on offense and you only go 3 plays and you have to punt the ball, it's definitely a big backbreaker for you. So when we get that on defense, it's pretty exciting.
For you this year, too, you've worked a little bit on the offensive side of things. A lot of times it's more of blocking, with playing as a tight end or as an H-back or something. But like Coach said, they've kind of worked you in for a few wrinkles, and you caught a touchdown pass last night on a nice ball from Logan.
Yeah, this offense is definitely not something I'm used to playing with. So it's been a big adjustment on the offensive side, more than it has been on the defensive side. But I think I'm starting to learn the offense a lot better than I was in the beginning of the season.
Well, gentlemen, congratulations on the run that you guys have made, and thank you so much for joining us here this morning.
Thank you.
Coach, let's rotate you back in here real quickly. And the thing that we look at as you prepare for this week, this is an opponent that you guys know very well. It's not a uncommon foe, if you will, but when you approach this football game, obviously the mixture of nerves and just the amped up from the nature of the game, how important is it to get things settled in very quickly Friday afternoon down at Kroger?
Yeah, I mean, obviously our guys are going to be emotional high. Both teams will be emotionally charged. It's a team we're familiar with. We just played 366 days ago down at their place, and got a lot of respect for Pike from Coach McNamee, first-class guy and all they do. And, again, it's a 48-minute game. I think our guys know that. I think, having 30-plus upperclassmen hopefully gives us some maturity and some things that maybe our approach will be a little different, and maybe the way that we handle ourselves and our business will be a little different, led by, some of the guys you spoke with today and their teammates. But, again, we know it's going to be a long battle. Totally different game than what we played just a night ago. It's going to be a war of attrition on the offensive, defensive line, who can run the ball and who can stop the run. And we'll get prepared this week and look forward to the opportunity and the challenge that lies ahead.
Having the ability, and I talked with a couple people last night after the game, and they said that they were kind of maybe a little caught off guard by the way that the celebration went down. They said, it was a celebration, but it wasn't like, a state semifinal is what you would expect. And I said, I think a lot of it goes back to, it wasn't the goal of getting back to Kroger Field. It was an expectation, and this was just another step on the way of getting to that ultimate goal of winning a state championship.
Yeah, I had got that question last night as well by one of the news reporters. I don't remember which one, but the thing about us is you never hear us in the locker room. Our kids will tell you we don't ever talk about let's win this game or let's win that game. We're process driven. We're trying to be our best when our best is needed. We're trying to put our best foot forward every week and get better as we go along each rung of the ladder, each step of the process. Obviously, as you get deeper and deeper, it requires a better version of yourself if you want to survive and advance, and that's kind of our mindset. Just be where I think the last thing I told the team last night. Be where your feet are. Be right here. Be in this moment, and then whatever happens over the next course of 48 minutes, then let it be. But we're going to play the next play and be stuck right here where we are, and that's kind of been our mindset all year. Don't get too far ahead of yourself. Most certainly don't look in the rear view. You're not going that way. Just stay on this play, and we'll play the next play. And that's who we are, and that's who we've been. I think that comes when you have mature football teams. Guys on the, I don't know exactly, but we probably some guys that are in the upwards of, 40 plus varsity starts now. And so that's what you get when you get that type of experience. And I don't think our guys will be awestruck or, uncomfortable or, get caught big-eyed or bugged-eyed, as whatever people call it, Friday at high noon.
Head coach for the Raceland Rams, Mike Sammons, in studio. Also with us this morning, Ben Taylor, Braden Webb, Peyton Eisen, Parker Fannin, and Reese Winters. Coach, it's been a pleasure, and still some unfinished business. One more to go, high noon Friday afternoon.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to it.
Let's take a break. When we return, we'll take a look at college football scoreboard. A lot of big games in action today. I've got a special segment on the backside of that, and of course, that's the Border Sporting Goods Rant of the Week at the end of the show. That's as we continue here on Let's Talk Sports on the Cool Hits Sports Network.
In addition to the Greeniff location, Stelz Pharmacy's newest location is at 437 James Hanna Drive in South Shore, but has retained the name you know and love, McDonald Pharmacy, with the same great service you'll find in the Greeniff location, with free delivery service and their convenient drive-thru. Get your vaccinations and allergy shots, and of course, great prescription service at Stelz Pharmacy in Greeniff and McDonald Pharmacy, James Hanna Drive, South Shore.
Stelz Pharmacy.
Does your gas station or convenience store need a facelift? If so, call River City Builders at 473-4112 for your remedy. Big or small projects, River City's Builders is a company for all your needs. We have extensive experience in the petroleum industry, from routine gas dispenser and canopy maintenance to above-ground, underground tank and piping work to full-blown remodels and new builds. Call River City Builders at 473-4112 for all your petroleum needs. We'll cover your back and keep your customers pumping gas.
I'm April Perry, the CEO of Kentucky Farmers Bank. On average, our employees have been with Kentucky Farmers Bank for over 10 years, and that is important to you and us. We want you to know who you are dealing with. Whether you are financing a new home, buying a car, or remodeling your kitchen, Kentucky Farmers Bank is the better bank for all your needs.
Kentucky Farmers Bank, the better bank for all your financial needs since 1931. Located in Ashland, Summit, and Catlettsburg. KentuckyFarmersBank.com. Member FDIC and equal housing lender. Quality Marathon gasoline. Great monthly specials on snacks and beverages and fantastic service. Those are the qualities of Clark's Pump and Shops. You'll find a Clark's Pump and Shop near you in the Bluegrass State and beyond. And Rick and Brent Clark want you to know that they take pride in giving you the best prices and service, and they thank you for your patronage. Clark's Pump and Shops are a division of the John W. Clark Oil Company. Clark's Pump and Shops. Return, refresh, refuel.
We're your home for Motown, soul, and great rock and roll. We're Cool Hits 105.7.
Back on Let's Talk Sports on the Cool Hits Sports Network. James Carr, happy to have you along with us this morning. A big thanks to Raceland Football. Mike Sammons, head coach for the Raceland Rams. Peyton Eisen, Parker Fannin, Reese Winters, Braden Webb, and Ben Taylor for joining us here this morning in the studios. Rams are headed to Kroger. As I called it last night on the game, let's go Krogering. As the state semifinals win 49-6 over Holy Cross out of Louisville. It sets up the matchup that everybody thought was going to be the deciding game in Class Single A. Number 1, Pikeville. Number 2, Raceland. High noon. We'll have all your action right here on the Cool Hits Sports Network, including on it's only on the FM. We cannot do video because once you get into the state championship, the state network takes over everything. So it will only be on the Cool Hits Sports Network app as well as on Cool Hits 105.7 FM. We will post the time that we're going to start pregame probably by Wednesday. at least at 11:30, and we may go sooner. Just depends on how things play out this week. But we're going to build up a great pregame show and bring you every action-packed play from Kroger Field coming up Friday at high noon. Well, let's take a look at college football games that's on tap today in Top 25. A lot of rivalry games and a lot of games that's going to play into deciding not only conference championships of who's going to play in those games next week, but some of this could decide out how the college football playoff rankings are going to play out. That's going to put those Final Four into those national semifinal games. But here we go. At the noon games, you got Georgia Tech at number 1, Georgia. The biggest game, I think, not only of today, but maybe the biggest game of the year. 2 undefeated teams, both in the Big Ten. Number 3, Michigan, as it is at the shoe, and number 2, Ohio State. That one's going to be a dandy. I will be watching that football game start to finish. I don't like either one of the teams. I don't care, but that's going to be some great football. I'm certainly looking forward to watching this one and seeing how this one plays out. South Carolina travels to Clemson, the number 8 ranked Clemson Tigers. At 3 p.m. today, number 25 Louisville heads out to Kroger Field against Kentucky. That game's at 3 p.m. Our countdown to kickoff coverage begins at 2. As long as Dwayne doesn't forget, put a bunch of commercials in that you got to get everything in. But we'll have all the coverage here on the Coed Sports Network beginning at 2 p.m. today. A win today for the Cats makes them bowl eligible. So they got a little bit of work to do. Louisville been playing very well. Can the Cardinals get a win to take care of the Bluegrass battle? At 3:30 today, Auburn travels to number 7 Alabama. Number 9 Oregon is at number 21 Oregon State. At 4 p.m. today, Iowa State's at number 4 TCU. Michigan State's at number 11 Penn State. Number 14 Utah travels to Colorado. Evening games, at 7 o'clock, it's number 5 LSU at Texas A&M. Number 22 UCF's at South Florida. 7:30 tonight, number 15 Notre Dame, number 6 USC. That's always a fun one to watch. I just turned something on. I don't know what happened there. Yeah, Dwayne did that, I promise you. Number 10 Tennessee's at Vanderbilt. Kansas is at number 12 Kansas State tonight at 8 p.m. And 10:30 this evening, number 13 Washington, is heading to Washington State. A couple of games already final. Number 20 Ole Miss falls to Mississippi State. That game was Thursday night, 24-22. It was number 16 Florida State outlasting Florida 45-38. Sorry, Ben Spicer. I know you wanted your Gators to win, but the Seminoles a little bit too much. It was a shootout down in Chapel Hill. North Carolina State in double overtime takes down number 17 North Carolina 30-27. Number 18 UCLA over Cal 35-28. It was number 19 Tulane over 24th ranked Cincinnati 27-24. The Tulane Green Wave. They're the head of the class in the American Athletic Conference. And Baylor falls to number 23 Texas 38-27. Well, we just finished up Thanksgiving on Thursday, and this is certainly a time of the year that I think it's important that we all pay thanks to those that we have and things that have been given to us and the options that we have in our life. And as I was thinking about this was something that, again, what we've done here at the radio station of the inception of Cool TV this year certainly was not on the game plan. Let's just be frank about it. It was not. In July, it was kind of thrust on to us with some decisions that we had to take care of, and there was a lot of people behind the scenes that really gave us the opportunities to do what we did last night. This has been a build it as we fly it type of thing. We have had some bumps along the road, and there's still bumps to come. But the thing of it is that we have built this program and this platform from the ground up. There's been some amazing people that have been involved in all of this stuff. But last night, we are right around 10,000 views on the state semifinals game between Raceland and Holy Cross. And I want to say thank you to all of our sponsors. And I'm not just going to give it a blanket statement because they have done way too much to allow us to build our platform to bring you the best coverage that we can provide for our high school athletics. So here we go. This is through football. Clark's Pump and Shops of the Tri-State, River Cities Builders, A&A Porta Potties, Kentucky Farmers Bank, Stoltz Pharmacy, First and People's Bank, Ashland Community and Technical College. Kevin Johnston for Boyd County Clerk. Jamie Race for Boyd County Sheriff. DJ Reimer for Boyd County Clerk. Leaf Clark Wealth Management. Bluegrass Federal Credit Union. Kim Fannin Mullins for Greenup County Clerk. Primary Plus Healthcare. Pure Country Automotive. Smithfield Foods. Papa John's of Flatwoods and Grayson. Preston Funeral Home. Bowman's Auto Service and Collision Center. Larry Pancake for Greenup County Jailer. Andrew Eimel for Greenup County Clerk. Ram Pharmacy. Fairchild Auto. Jeff Vance for Raceland School Board. Sandy Loperfido for Raceland School Board. Amy for Africa Ministry. And Johnson Chiropractic. Our soccer sponsors. Yeah, that was the thing we were able to do this year, is bring some new sports because of the TV side of things. We brought in soccer, we brought in volleyball, and it really added some elements that we could provide here through the station. So all of our soccer sponsors, of course, Clark's Pump and Shops, River Cities Builders, All American Graphics, A&A Porta Potties, Carter Cave State Park, the Greenup County Library, Stoltz Pharmacy, Kentucky Farmers Bank, Pure Country Automotive, Papa John's Pizza, Flatwoods and Grayson, First National Bank, Grayson Sporting Goods, Johnny's Pizza, State Senator Robin Webb, Malone Funeral Home. For the golf coverage that we did for the regional golf tournament up at Hidden Cove, Clark's Pump and Shops of the Tri-State, River Cities Builders, A&A Porta Potties, Stoltz Pharmacy, Kentucky Farmers Bank, First and People's Bank, Ashland Community and Technical College, Primary Plus Healthcare, Pure Country Automotive, Smithfield Foods, Border Sporting Goods, Kim Fannin Mullins for Greenup County Clerk, Pat Hedrick for Boyd County Attorney, Healthy Way Pharmacy, Leaf Clark Wealth Management, and Wagner Rental and Supply. And finally, our volleyball sponsors, Clark's Pump and Shops of the Tri-State, River Cities Builders, A&A Porta Potties, Stoltz Pharmacy, Kentucky Farmers Bank, Pure Country Automotive, Raceland Board of Education, First and People's Bank, Ashland Community and Technical College, Boyd County Board of Education, Primary Plus Healthcare, Border Sporting Goods, Boyd County EMS, Smithfield Foods, and Kevin Johnston for Boyd County Clerk. Now you may say, why in the world are you taking the time to read all of those names? Because everything we have done has been made possible by the great support of our sponsors. So those names that you hear, if you like the coverage that you're seeing here through Cool TV and the Cool Hit Sports Network, pay patronage to our sponsors, because when you're supporting them, they're supporting us, and we can continue to bring you amazing coverage of our high school athletics. And we greatly appreciate every single one of those that has jumped on them and really given us the opportunity to bring you all the coverage that we've been able to give thus far this year. All right, let's take our final break. When we come back, it's the Border Sporting Goods Rant of the Week. That's as we continue here on Let's Talk Sports on the Cool Hit Sports Network.
In addition to the Greenup location, Stoltz Pharmacy's newest location is at 437 James Hanna Drive in South Shore, but has retained the name you know and love, McDonald Pharmacy, with the same great service you'll find in the Greenup location, with free delivery service and their convenient drive-thru. Get your vaccinations and allergy shots, and of course, great prescription service at Stoltz Pharmacy in Greenup and McDonald Pharmacy, James Hanna Drive, South Shore.
Stoltz Pharmacy.
Does your gas station or convenience store need a facelift? If so, call River City Builders at 473-4112 for your remedy. Big or small projects, River Cities Builders is a company for all your needs. We have extensive experience in the petroleum industry, from routine gas dispenser and canopy maintenance to above-ground, underground tank and piping work to full-blown remodels and new builds. Call River City Builders at 473-4112 for all your petroleum needs. We'll cover your back and keep your customers pumping gas.
Hello, I'm Michael Bowling, Senior Vice President of Kentucky Farmers Bank. When you do business with Kentucky Farmers Bank, you're making an investment in your community. Your money stays local, we never sell your loan, and in turn, we invest in local families, churches, schools, and charities. We believe in our community, and that's why we are the better bank for loans.
Kentucky Farmers Bank, the better bank for loans since 1931. Located in Ashland, Summit, and Catlettsburg. KentuckyFarmersBank.com, member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
The weather is brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shops of the Tri-State. For low prices on snacks, soft drinks, and quality Marathon gasoline, visit the Clark's Pump and Shop nearest you. Clark's Pump and Shops of the Tri-State. Return, refresh, refuel.
Cool Hits weather.
Look for partly cloudy skies today. A high will be around 60. Cloudy tonight with occasional rain showers at a low around 44. On Sunday, cloudy with periods of rain early, a high of 62.
Cool Hits 105.7.
Back here on Let's Talk Sports on the Cool Hits Sports Network. It's time for the Borders Sporting Goods Rant of the Week. Borders Sporting Goods, US 60 in Cannonsburg. For your hunting and fishing needs, as well as the best deals on Liberty gun safes, see the good folks at Borders Sporting Goods, US 60 in Cannonsburg. Well, I would imagine they've got some amazing sales going on out there. All those Black Friday ads and specials, Liberty gun safes, Abu Garcia, rods and reels, Luz, everything on sale out there. Stop by and see Brad and the gang. They'll get you all squared away for any of those big-ticket items that you need for Christmas, even some stocking stuffers. Of course, if anybody is looking for some last-minute gift ideas for me, Borders Sporting Goods gift cards are always a great option as well. You drop those off here at the radio station, I would be more than happy to take them. But this one is one I've been stewing over all week long, and it comes down to one single word: drama. You know, the thing I've never understood is, drama is something that you put up with in high school and all the way through school. But for some reason, some people when their adult lives find it fitting that they like to be dramatic and full of drama as an adult. And I've never understood that. I don't get the drama, okay? The only drama that I enjoy is watching it on television. It's scripted. You can pretty much tell what's going to happen, and then if you've had enough of it, you can just turn it off. I wish there was a way that we could turn it off in society, because some drama is it's so ridiculous. How petty some people can be, and the fact of some people really enjoy just stirring the pot, hoping that they create drama around it. And then they just like to sit back and stew in all the misery. But the thing I've never understood is why. Where are you in your life as an adult that your greatest accomplishment that really just gets you going is creating someone else heartache or displeasurement or just trying to make things rough for someone simply because maybe you don't like something they're doing or you just don't like that person? I've never been that person. I've always I've always said one thing: if you're talking about me, you're leaving somebody else alone, and that's perfectly okay. I've got big shoulders. I'm 6'4". I can take it. Bring it on. Leave somebody else alone. Come on me. I'm fine with that. But I just don't understand what's the point. Why as an adult do we have to create drama? And then the thing is that when an adult does this, and there are children that are watching all of this as it goes through, what are we creating? What type of atmosphere are we creating for our kids to build upon? And I don't get that. So this was a very short and sweet rant, but it's because it's pretty straight to the point. Stop the drama. If you're that bored, go adopt a pet or something. Get something to keep you occupied, rather than just being a pet peeve. That's the message right there. Is if you're that bored, maybe start playing video games or take up basket weaving or underwater, crocheting or something. I don't know. Go find something to do with your time, other than just trying to find ways to make other people's lives miserable. Because like Dwayne. Just because you're miserable in your own self. So, again, stop the drama. Enough's enough. That's the Borders Sporting Goods Rant of the Week. A big thanks to Raceland Football, Mike Sammons, Ben Taylor, Braden Webb, Peyton Ison, Parker Fan, and Reese Winters for joining me in studio this morning. It was an electric atmosphere last night over at Rams Stadium for the state semifinals. The Raceland Rams, the Pikeville Panthers, they'll play for the Class A state championship this Friday, high noon, down at Kroger Field in Lexington, Kentucky. We'll have all your action right here on the Cool Hits Sports Network, beginning at least 11:30. It may be sooner than that. We've got to see how things all line up whenever we talk with the state association about what time the allotment that we're allowed for broadcasting, how soon we can get into the booth and everything. But certainly looking forward to making the trip back to Kroger Field and bringing you a state championship call right here on the Cool Hits Sports Network. So for our entire crew here at the Cool Hits Sports Network, our great ownership, our general manager, Jim Force, and my hopeless producer, God help him, Dwayne Elliott, I'm James Carrier. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and thanks for tuning in here on Let's Talk Sports on the Cool Hits Sports Network. Have a good weekend, everyone. You believe